Hello and welcome to Pandora FMS. In today's video, you will see the inventory in Pandora FMS, what it is, how to obtain this data, and how to see it. In Pandora FMS, you may retrieve inventory data from agents. These are data related to CPU, RAM, video card, network interfaces, installed software, processes, etc. And now the question is, how do we obtain this data? You may do so in two ways: remotely using Pandora FMS Inventory server, and locally by having software agents collect this data and send it to Pandora FMS. We'll start with remote inventory. Please note that the inventory server must be enabled. We will check it from the server's view, making sure that the inventory server appears. Otherwise, you may enable it by changing the value of the inventory_server line to 1 in the server configuration file or from the server standard editor. Once you make sure that it is enabled, you may go to any existing console agent. From Management Resources, Manage Agents, click Edit in any of those that appear and go to Inventory. Here you will see a series of fields that you may fill in, such as the inventory model to be used, which will be limited to showing the inventory models registered in the console, and whose operating system matches that of the agent itself. You may see or create additional inventory models in our console for management, configuration, inventory models. In the list, you may see the name, description, operating system where they may be used, the type of interpreter you use, and the code run to collect remotely and retrieve the remote inventory data. Click Create to add a new inventory model, indicate the previously mentioned data in addition to the format to be used when displaying the values obtained, the execution mode, which can be online if you type in the code in the same view of the model configuration, or script type indicating the path to the file or script that contains the code to be run and that must be located on the machine where Pandora FMS server is hosted. Continuing with the fields that you may find in the agent inventory settings, we also find the execution interval to renew the inventory data, the target address, and the possibility of using custom fields, in case the parameters to be used are not username and password. For this example, we will use an agent whose IP address belongs to a Cisco device from which it is possible to retrieve information through SNMP, since it is enabled in it. In the View Remote Inventory Models view, choose, for example, the Cisco Interface Remote Inventory Model, which will need information related to SNMP. In the case of using the SSH connection option, you will need to have the appropriate credentials. Continuing with our example, we have to take into account that the operation of this inventory model requires an IP address and the SNMP community to use. The IP address is already indicated in the target field, so it is only necessary to specify the SNMP community. At this point, you may either enter it in the username field and leave the password field empty, or go for the use of custom fields. You may name the new field as Community and click on Add Field. Finally, click Add and the remote inventory model will be created for this agent. After the execution or by forcing it yourself, you will be able to access the agent's inventory view and see the data collected. Before that, we will take a look at getting inventory data locally or through the software agent. This will be done by running the inventory plugin on the Linux software agents or by using agent plugin modules that run the corresponding script on Windows software agents. On Linux agents, the default inventory plugin execution line is indicated in the agent's configuration file, but it is commented out. You may uncomment it from the plugin's view of the agent and wait for the next execution interval to collect this data. If you wish to delve into the customization for this plugin, you may run it in Pandora FMS server terminal as follows to see the available options. You will see that the available parameters are the first one, an interval, and the later ones, a series of local inventory models. The interval will be expressed in days and will indicate how many days this plugin runs. If 0 is entered, it will run at each agent interval. Regarding the models to choose, if none is specified, data will be obtained from all the inventory models automatically. And in case you don't want this, specify the inventory models to use. For example, CPU, process, users, and NIC. In Windows agents, on the other hand, there's a number of plugin modules configured but commented out, and each one retrieves different information. To use them, all you have to do is uncomment them and wait for the software agent to run them to see the information received. Finally, we'll talk about inventory display. It is possible to see the collected information data from any agent by accessing the inventory view from the View section, where you may only see the inventory data of this agent. In this view, look at the latest data from the active inventory models. In addition, you will have a series of filters that will allow you to select a specific model from which to display the data. A date filter to select a time period to retrieve said data, and a text search engine to filter on any stored inventory field. You may see inventory data for all agents in your environment. For that, access Operation Monitoring Inventory. In this view, you will have several additional filters which will allow you to specify a group, agent, inventory module, a text finder on any stored inventory fields, and the data collection date, and may indicate whether you wish disable or enable agents to be displayed or both. And that was it for today's video. Don't forget it, if you liked the video, smile, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. Any suggestions, questions, or ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Remember that if you're interested in trying Pandora FMS Enterprise, you may contact us to get a free 30-day trial. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you on social media and in future learning videos.